Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating reality that is quite literally hiding right in your laundry room. You know that heavy $25 jug of commercial laundry detergent sitting on your washing machine right now? Well, what if I told you it represents one of the most brilliantly executed, massive industry illusions of the modern era? It's wild. We're going to look at exactly how a $60 billion industry engineered this, and far more importantly, how you can entirely bypass it. Okay, let's dive into this.
So when you pour out a standard bottle of premium liquid detergent, roughly 9/10 of what hits the drain is nothing more than plain old tap water. Seriously, that is not an exaggeration. It's the standard formula. The stark reality is that you are looking at 90% tap water, 7% food coloring and synthetic fragrances, and less than 3% dedicated to the actual cleaning agent, the surfactant. Just think about the logistics of that for a second. Consumers are happily paying $25 to ship heavy plastic jugs filled mostly with tap water all the way across the country.
And that brings us to this staggering number, 900%. To the consumer, that big plastic jug feels like a premium bottle of detergent. But to the chemical industry, it is a massive 900% markup on a single 10-cent mineral. This isn't just a random accident of supply chains either, it's totally by design. The actual active ingredients you genuinely need to clean your clothes are probably sitting on the bottom shelf of your local grocery store right now, just completely ignored by most shoppers every single week.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the psychology behind the purchase. You see, back in the 1950s, the soap industry faced a pretty big dilemma. They realized they couldn't charge premium prices for raw, basic minerals that literally anyone could buy. So they pivoted to marketing. They started adding these synthetic scents and calling them things like Mountain Spring or Ocean Breeze. And after a decade of relentless advertising, the average American brain was literally conditioned to associate that fake synthetic smell with the very concept of cleanliness. If it smells like a mountain spring, your brain automatically says, hey, it's clean. But you know, that's not chemistry, that's conditioning. Your nose has actually been trained to validate a markup. In reality, the actual chemistry of cleaning clothes only requires three basic functions: a catalyst, a surfactant, and a hard water neutralizer.
So let's look at those three real ingredients, which, by the way, you can easily find. The first is the catalyst, washing soda. And just to be clear, that's specifically not baking soda, but washing soda, like the Arm & Hammer brand you can usually spot in a bright yellow box for around $4.99. Chemically speaking, this is sodium carbonate. When this hits the water in your machine, it creates an alkaline pH spike of around 11. That spike physically lifts proteins and oils right off your fabric fibers. I mean, this is the absolute workhorse of the cleaning process. In fact, this is the exact unpatentable molecule that the entire synthetic detergent industry was originally built to replace.
Okay, the second ingredient you're going to need is the water softener, borax. You've probably seen the 20 Mule Team borax box sitting right next to the washing soda on the shelf. It's a totally natural mineral mined right out of dry lake beds, and it costs about $5. Now, this step is absolutely crucial because the vast majority of America has hard water. Hard water basically wraps minerals around dirt particles and makes them stick stubbornly to your clothes. If you don't break those bonds, you are essentially trying to clean your clothes in liquid concrete. Borax simply breaks those bonds so the dirt can actually be rinsed away. And that brings us to the third and final ingredient, your surfactant, which is Castile soap. You're looking for a pure bar soap like Dr. Bronner's, which will run you about $4.50, or Kirk's Castile, which is closer to $2 a bar. This provides the actual soap molecule that physically grabs onto the grease and carries it down the drain. And it is incredibly potent. Seriously, just one single bar of this pure soap completely replaces an entire quart of the liquid surfactant that's found in those commercial detergents.
When you add it all up, the economics are just incredible. While your total bulk materials cost is going to be roughly $13, you're only using a fraction of that washing soda and borax per batch. So, the crucial point is, your effective cost for a batch that yields 300 loads of laundry is well under $6. And you'll even have leftover powder that will last you right into your next year of laundry. Think about that. 300 loads, which is an entire year's supply for a family of 4, for $6.
But the technique here matters just as much as the ingredients. To make this concentrate, what we like to call white gold, you start by grating the Castile soap on a standard cheese grater until you have about 1 cup of flakes. Then you dissolve those flakes into 4 cups of hot water in a saucepan over low heat. Now the big secret here is to stir slowly, and whatever you do, do not let it boil or you're going to create foam that ruins the whole texture. Let's move to the next step and see how this builds. Once that's melted, pour it into a standard 5-gallon bucket filled halfway with hot tap water. Add exactly 1 cup of your washing soda and 1 cup of your borax. Stir it nice and slow for about 2 minutes. You'll actually feel the texture physically change as the chemistry activates. Finally, top the bucket off with cold water, snap the lid on tight, and just let it sit overnight. By morning, it transforms into this thick, semi-translucent gel. You literally just use half a cup of this gel directly in the drum or the detergent tray for every load.
Now, this hack goes way beyond just saving a ton of money. There are massive secondary benefits. First, you might be wondering, hey, is this going to ruin my modern high-efficiency washing machine? Well, it's actually the exact opposite. You see, synthetic detergents are engineered to create suds simply because consumers like bubbles. But suds are just air. They don't clean anything at all, and they actually end up clogging the drainage sensors on HE machines. And this brilliantly illustrates why this homemade gel is so great. It's naturally low sudsing, which is exactly what your machine was originally designed to handle. Plus, because it contains absolutely zero synthetic dyes, optical brighteners, or fragrance chemicals, it is incredible for sensitive skin. Even those commercial free and clear detergents still rely on harsh synthetic surfactants that can easily trigger eczema or baby skin rashes. This simple 3-ingredient chemistry simply doesn't need them.
So we've just uncovered how a $60 billion industry basically counts on you buying a heavy plastic bottle that is 90% tap water. You now know the actual chemistry to replace it for about $6 a year, getting much cleaner clothes and a much happier washing machine in the process. But, it leaves us with a really lingering thought. Once you see this water trick sitting on the store shelves, you really can't unsee it. So I leave you with this. If we have been totally conditioned to pay a 900% markup just for the illusion of a mountain spring in our laundry room, what else in your home are you paying a 900% markup on? Keep questioning, keep learning, and thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.